Good evening. I hope everyone had a blessed day. This is the first episode of my talking segment that I have. I don't have an official name for it yet, so when I come up with a name, then I'll have it put them on the intro as I get into doing these videos. I'm going to be having more intros and things like that on there. So what it is I'm going to be discussing things of a personal nature, things that happen in my life, things of mentorship, encouragement, things trying to help people understand things from a different perspective. I have a lot of experience in things that has happened to me over the past couple of years. People have been asking for me to do this type of video. I do a lot of speaking and talking and mentorship in person. They said that I'll probably be good at doing videos. And also, since COVID hit, everyone's locked up. Everyone's locked in house. Things aren't always back to normal. And I found that this is probably another way that I can give back and continue to keep doing what I'm doing. Some of the topics that I'm going to be discussing, and talking about is relationships, mental health, personal awareness, general conversations, love. One of the topics that someone wanted me to talk about is one um, of why do men usually don't take care of their children after the separation of the mother. I'm going to be talking about the difference between poisonous and toxic people, and how most toxic people don't know that there are the toxic ones. So they are the type of things that I'm going to be discussing. But first and foremost, what I'm going to do is my very first discussion I want to have with you people out there is basically a little backstory of what my life has been since 2015. A lot of people don't know. I've had a lot of health issues, had a couple of scares, and the awareness of your health and mental health, you can see it out there everywhere. People going crazy. The quality of people in general is diminishing everywhere. Even people that you used to know that was good, decent people, it seems like everyone is going crazy, like they're off their rocker. So a lot of these discussions, I want to use myself as the template of what I'm talking for, because I don't want to offend nobody. And this ain't no Steve Harvey thing. This ain't no I'm thinking that I know what all men think or I have all the answers. This is just from a humble person's experiences and things that I've been through, and that I know that I did the work for me. So I'm gonna start off. So about 6 years ago, in 2015, I've been legally put out of work from my doctors as far as issues concerning my health. The problem that I had at the current time was my blood pressure, which a lot of African Americans suffer from, high blood pressure. My blood pressure at certain times, I think at the highest was 280 over 200. And what happened is I would go to the hospital for one particular thing, and we never get past the screening. They pump my arm, take my blood pressure, ask me, do I feel all right? I feel fine. And then the doctors rush in, they take my pressure. Now they trying to admit me in the hospital and keep me out of work. I wasn't having that. I was raised that men work, men provide. So I would have to sign papers stating that if I left the hospital and died on the job, that they wasn't held responsible. So a friend of mine was talking to my mother, and I guess my mother had shared with them that she didn't want me working no more, which I always found strange because the men in my family, we work. I've been working since the sixth grade, full time with my sisters, at McDonald's, working at McDonald's, and she was a manager. So we always work. Only time we didn't work is we couldn't find work. So it was strange for me hearing that she didn't want me working anymore. So I had a conversation with my mother, and she told me, she was like, I don't want you working anymore. I want you taking care of your health. And, you know, mom's like the only one that can really talk me into it. The doctor's trying to put me out of work before I wasn't hearing nothing they were saying. And I have a lot of responsibilities. I was a single father. I mentor. There's some kids that I helped out, and me not working while I can work was just was unheard of. And I was real skeptical about coming out. I'm not used to having people do anything for me. I'm not used to depending on people. I'm the one that people come to. I'm the one that people depend on. I'm the one that people come to make things happen. It's hardly ever been vice versa in my life. So I'm thinking about the type of hit I'm gonna take. I'm like, okay, well, child support don't care if you got health problems, they gonna lock you up. They ain't worried about you. The bills ain't worried about the companies ain't worried about you not having income in your health. So I was really skeptical about coming out. And then even, my daughters needing help. A couple of my students need help, just people in general, I was real skeptical about coming out. So mother's logic is real simple and basic. My mom was like, I understand, I raised you to work and everything, but I want you coming out. And she said, you talk about helping people, you can't help nobody if you dead. So I was like, okay, you know what? I allow myself to come out, And she told me, she said, the family got you. She said, which I found strange at the time. She said, you did enough. I was about 40 at the time. And, I'm like, I did enough, I didn't know what she meant at the particular time. But like I said, I've helped a lot of people, in some aspects. I worked like 2 lifetimes, worth of work, whether it's a paycheck job or helping somebody better themselves or, raising other people's kids. I've done a lot. So I'm glad that I allowed myself to be taken out of work. I'm glad that I allowed myself to get over that personal hurdle, because upon coming out of work, the doctor was trying to find out, why is this guy's blood pressure so high? I found out that along with having uncontrollable hypertension, I had heart failure and kidney failure. So I had the three amigos. So I really was, I was happy that I came into work and I found out this stuff and I can start, taking care of the issues, but, I wasn't happy with the fact that, okay, now I got 3 situations going on and I'm not working. Now, upon coming out of work, anybody that's been out of work for a while, they know collecting disability is no joke. Those people do not want to give you no money. They want to try to stall you out as long as possible, before they give you your benefits that they know they're going to give it to you in the long run. But it's designed to make you frustrated and have to go back into the workforce so that they can keep you from getting the care that you need. Now, in my situation, and this is, I'm really talking to the fellas right now because my situation was really, really bad. One, going from providing to nothing and depending on people like you want handouts or something, mentally, that's very, very hard. My condition with having a heart failure and a kidney failure, those 2 diseases intertwine and are not good. The medicine that's good for your heart will destroy your kidneys. The medicine that's good for your kidneys will destroy your heart. So the doctors will flip-flop every 2 weeks, changing your medications. Most people that know me, I've been active my whole life. I've been an athlete. I ran track. I teach martial arts. I'm a tactical instructor. I was a bounty hunter for a couple of years. I worked security. Some type of law enforcement. I've always been some type of physical. Going from that to nothing. When I say nothing, these people wanted me pretty much to sit in the house, wait for disability, and just play video games all day, just chill. And then the medications. I was on 18 different medications. Each medication had a side effect or two. So, um, one of the side effects of one of the medications gave me gout. I never had gout before, but they could not get the blood pressure under control, so they gave me medication. They didn't tell me this beforehand. They didn't tell me that it would give me gout, and a lot of people don't know what gout is. People that do, they know extremely how painful it is. You know, it's so painful that I remember when I was talking to my doctor, I said, forget the heart and the kidney problems. If you give me something to make this pain go away, I deal with that. Gout is extremely painful. It's like the equivalent of having kidney stones on your joints. Some people get in a foot, but you can get gout anywhere that you have a joint in your body. In my case, I get full body gout. I get it in both my legs, my feet, my ankles, my knees, my shoulders, my back. So I become paralyzed. Now, during this time of taking these medications and then my kidneys fell in, you know, I acquired something called edema. Edema is when your body can't get rid of the excess fluids. And, you know, some black people, we call it the clumps because you look like how the Nutty Professor looked when he was swelling up. I went up to about 325 pounds. My natural weight has always been about 245, 250. So I had over 60 pounds of water weight on me. Whereas though, if you push into my extremities, my legs, my arms, you can push in about 4 inches and pull it out and the skin will not come back. You know, I had to go through the mental anguish of being paralyzed in the bed, you know, and I have, excuse me too, if my voice changed a little bit, you know, because like I said, this is a little personal for me, but I believe that it need to be said. I had to go from being the most strongest, powerful man in my girls' lives to not being able to put on my damn pants, being stuck and paralyzed in that bed in a single position because I'm either riddled with pain, um, the gout, the medication, the covers on you feel like it's 1,000 pounds, and watching them walk past the room and just look at me deteriorate. For a man, especially that's raising daughters, that's horrible. It's nightmarish. There's been times where as though they'd be right downstairs in the house and I couldn't get to the bathroom because I can't walk. So no, I didn't go to the bathroom myself, but I'll crawl out of bed and I'll on my hands and knees like an army soldier, scooting down the hallway, crawling on the toilet to go to the bathroom because I didn't want to ask them for help. I didn't want them to see me like that. There was another time I had no choice for them to see me like that. I had to go to the hospital. The pain was too much, so these steps right here, I had to wheel myself with a chair, then scoot down the steps on my butt, then did an army crawl to the front door, and then literally crawl outside. It was raining that day. I had to crawl through the mud because they can't pick me up. Cat piss and crap all in the mud and everything. Crawl to the car on my hands and knees where my baby girl had to take me to the hospital. And for a man, I know that this could be very degrading. It could be the mental aspect of going through all of that, you know, was horrible. It was horrible. You know, I am a man of faith, but I've always suffered from depression. You know, I'm a very hard judge of my own character. I'm always trying to better myself. I'm always trying to do better. And I'm not a do as I say person, meaning when I raise my children, it ain't do as I say, it's do as I do. So if I don't like a whole bunch of cussing, I can't do a whole bunch of cussing. If I don't want you smoking and drinking, I can't be smoking and drinking. You know, so I try my best to lead by example. You know, and sometimes I can be hypocritical. You know, because I'm a father, I'm a man, and having to subject my daughters to that, you know, they're like, Dad, we got you. But mentally, you know, that would put you in a very depressed state. You know, in the past, I played and contemplated suicidal thoughts before. You know, just life being down. You know, most good men aren't treated well in society. Not at all. We're stepping stools to other people and things like that. You know, so being a good person is 5 times harder than just being a regular. You know, so the whole concept of everything was very hard for me to deal with. You know, so in this current case, I didn't have the suicidal thoughts because I've had the privilege and the honor of being in a good church foundation, and I have an excellent uh, pastor, pastors, and basically I was living off the residual teachings that they instilled in me in the past couple of years. The church been closed down, and I haven't had access to that energy and that drive. But I was being, I was basically going off of the food that already was fed. But it was still very difficult, and that's why I want to get into these men. You know, you got families out there. You have to take care of yourself. You can't help nobody if you're dead. You know, I know that we're taught to work. I know that we're taught to take care of the family, but if you don't work, nothing will work. And sometimes the work isn't as physical as you think it is. Sometimes the work is basically working on yourself, your body, your soul, your mind. Your mind more important than your body, because I strongly believe that most of my health conditions is from worried about and stressed about people that don't really care about you. You know, giving your heart and your mind and your soul to people that they care about what they can get from you. And then once what they got is got, then they get. You know, so you know, I think that you men out there, you need to understand. You know, we don't talk. We're not really designed to sit down and talk like that. You know, and share our emotions and stuff like that. You know, but we do feel. And I know there's men out there struggling now. I know there's guys out there with all types of situations with health and this, that, and other. You don't want to work, you know, the embarrassment, you know, but if you don't take care of your mind first, your body won't follow. And I'm putting it out there, you know, go get the help. Go get checked out. Go be that rock, that true rock for your family. The true rock isn't your physicality, how strong your muscular you are. It's how strong your mind is, or how strong your mind can adapt and handle situations that this world is going to throw on you. You know, now going forward. So I found it very interesting. My health didn't get any better until I ran into an unfortunate situation that it had a blessing attached to it. I had to get surgery done on my hand, and it was a simple surgery, but my blood pressure made it very dangerous. You know, I had surgery done. I actually flatlined a couple of times because of my blood pressure. So there was a Asian doctor that was that kind of seen me for my surgery, and I found it funny because she kept staring at me. She kept staring at me and staring at me, and I was looking at her. I was kind of offended because you know how you go into in the Korean stores and they be looking at you like you about to steal something, like you peeking over the glass and everything. So I'm like, man, I don't want to steal your pencil. Like, you know, lady, why you looking at me like this? Like, you know, you give me the eye. You know, like what's up? So she came over to me and she asked me a question. She was like, you know, excuse me, sir, I don't need to ask you a question. I'm like, you know, go ahead, no problem. So she's like, you know, are you a Christian? Now, I kind of laughed and chuckled to myself because I don't know why she asked me that. I mean, I had my hoodie on, I had my chains on my neck, I had my Timbs on. You know, I look like more like I'm about to rob somebody than, you know, coming up out of church, you know, and I just found it funny. And I told her, I said, actually, I am. I said, you know, I consider myself, you know, non-denomination. I said, but yes, I am. I do believe in God. I am a Christian. Then she said, okay, okay, that's what I thought. And then she made her nurse leave. And I'm looking at, I'm like, what's going on here? So this woman then sat down and she took her glasses off. She had a very different look on her face. She didn't look like a doctor. She had a very wise look on her face. And this lady began telling me a story about a situation that she was in a couple years prior. Now, this is the doctor. She said a couple years prior, she was legally blind. You know, she had lost all her sight. And she said that she went to her colleagues, the people that she admired, the people that she went to school with, you know, the people that she thought was the best in her field to help her get treated. And she said all them people that she didn't want to dinners with and school with and people she admired ran up her money, didn't help her, refused to take her calls or anything. And that's when she told me, she's like, you know, Mr. English, I think I was like 43 at the time. She said, you're too young and you're on 18 different medications. She said, your doctors have no desire to heal you. All they're doing is treating you. They're going to prolong the process for insurance reasons until they have to do something and your health is pretty much at critical. Now, this is coming from the doctor. She said that in her own life, her doctor, her friends, they did the same thing. And she said that they went through her bank account. She basically went broke. And she said her and her husband, you know, got on their knees and they prayed to God. And she said she asked God if he restored her sight. From this day forward, she will be completely honest with her patients. And I found that interesting how she worded it that way. And she went out of network and she went to some people that had no affiliation with her, you know, people that just more into the medicine, more into the healing. And where her colleagues told her it couldn't be done, it was actually done quite easily when she went to people that wasn't connected with her, that had more of the ideology of healing instead of profit. And she told me, she said, I'm going to approve your surgery. She said, but once I approve it, you're going to have to fire some of your doctors. She said, because you're never going to get better. She said, they got you on medications and they got you sitting in their house dying. And that's exactly what was happening. You know, I was damn near dead. I was at the point where I had to sit my daughters down. We started having conversations about my will, who's going to get what, and who I need to take care of and handle this, because I was convinced I was up out of here. It was that bad. You know, so I did what the doctor said. You know, I got the surgery done. And she also said, she said, more than likely you would have to go to a university. She said universities are more thorough with the health care and things like that. So at that point, I did two things. One, I fired a couple of my doctors, and I went with a doctor from Jefferson University, and her whole regimen was different than what the other doctors were saying. You know, she was talking some good stuff right from the back, and within a month, I got better. The second thing I had to do is I had to remember who was I. You know, doctors aren't God. You know, they're trained to know and learn certain things, but you have to know who you are. So everything they told me I couldn't do, I started doing it. I could not walk down my steps. So my first goal was to be able to walk back and forth down my hallway. I got my little walker, and I still got it on me now. And my mom and dad got my little old person's walker and everything, you know, got the crutches. And I started crawling back and forth. Then I started hobbling, holding myself up on the wall. Then I start walking. Then I'm like, all right, I get to the bathroom and back, you know. I want to try to make it down the steps myself. So then I scoot down the steps on my butt, walk back up. I started doing that. Then I'm like, it'd be nice to go to the corner store and not have to ask no kids to grab me a ginger ale or something. It'd be nice to take my own self to the corner store, something that people do every day, take for granted. I can't even make it there, and start going to the corner store and back. So then I start setting small goals. I want to walk to the corner and back. I want to walk around the corner. I don't know if I can walk from my house around the hospital and back. And I gradually start getting my strength back. I gradually start doing a little bit of my own thing that they had me not do, because as long as I was doing what they was telling me to do, I would stay medicated and unhealthy and fat and dying. So I had to find a compromise with what they was talking about and what I know my body can do, and the faith that I had. And that's another thing that got me through a lot of it. I don't care what religion you is. I'm not a religious person. I don't get into all of that. I believe what I believe. But I do believe that a person needs some type of spiritual system or guidance to help them in their endeavors in life. If you don't have no type of system or teachings, then you're already at a disadvantage. You're at a very bad disadvantage. And I think everyone should have some type of spiritual teacher. Spiritual teaching and mental health go one on one. If I wasn't so connected to my church, I wouldn't have no problem at this point going to go sit down and talk to a counselor or anything like that, you know. But my church provides a lot of what I need. Now it's been closed for a while, and watching on internet does not do it for me. you know, I'm one of the ones that sit up in the front where the bishop be at. I like I like the vibe, I like the energy. That's what helped convert me. That watching on TV, I can do it, but that doesn't do it for me. You know, but a church pretty much is nothing more or less. People make it so complicated. People go to the hospital to heal. People go to church to heal their mind. To feed it, to get another. I call it another conscience, because you don't necessarily change overnight. You still think what you think, but it's another conscience. You're allowed to see things differently and start putting things into perspective. And when you're dealing with your health and family and stuff like that, you're going to need that spiritual background, to anchor you. So where am I at currently now? I'm doing, I'm using a hell of a lot better. I still have the problems. I still have heart failure. My kidneys are actually even worse, because now, I went from stage 3 to stage 4, so I have to use a dialysis. But I feel a lot better. If I didn't tell you that I was on dialysis, you probably wouldn't know. I up to walking and jogging 4 miles a day. I'm not working out like I used to, but from somebody that couldn't walk down the hallway, I'm doing my push-ups, my sit-ups, you know, um, taking my walks, driving, able to do a little bit more. One of my main goals for getting myself back on the door, getting myself back in order, is to be able to help my daughters with the grandkids, especially with the boys. And I'm a lot more functional, and that's because, you can't give up. You have to have a strong mind in this. And especially for the men, please don't be a do as I say person. You got boy. I got all girls, and I have 4 biological girls. But man, when you talk about my boys, see, they know who they are. I don't know if they won't put their name out there like that, but my boys, they just a special, and they all got kids, and you know, there's things that I still have to do. But you want to make sure that you have a strong mind. People will respect your physicality to a degree, but if you're a man with a strong body and you can't handle no type of problems, you crack under pressure, you're quick tempered, You're moody. You can't sit back and analyze when somebody says something to you and then calculate it and then articulate it back in a mannerism that they can understand. Then you're really doing yourself a disservice. And I think as men, this is something that we all need to work on. It's something that we're not taught naturally. We're taught you have kids, you have responsibilities, work and die. That's the man talk right there. It's really simple. Really simple. That's the man talk. You have kids, you better take care of the kids. You better get a job. You better get a job. You better work. And that's it. We don't get no conversations. Nobody talk to us about our day, or if they do, it's just to hear us talk and don't pay us no mind and everything. So our minds have to be sharp. Our intellect have to be sharp. And I'm not saying you have to be a very well-spoken person and this, that, and other, but you have to be very intellectual with your mind and how you handle and process things, especially if you're a leader of a family or a community. So I'm stressing you, brothers out there. You know, get your mental right. Talk to somebody. It's not taboo. It's not. I don't want to use the term fruity. It's a real thing. It's not commonly put out there for us, but talk to someone, better yourselves, strengthen your spirit, strengthen your mind. And I guarantee when you do those things, people will notice a difference in you before you do. When you strengthen your mind and your spirituality, whatever path you may choose. As far as me, like I say, I'm doing a lot better. I also want to take the time out to personally and publicly acknowledge, back in January 11th, I was supposed to get a surgery done. My brother is donating me his kidney. In actuality, he insisted. He didn't want nobody else giving nothing. He like, yo, my bro was in problem. He had trouble, and I'm gonna give him my kidney. He made it adamant to my mom that he wanted to do it. His name is Jamar Galbraith. And if y'all see him on my page or anything, I want people to shout him out, because that's going to be a blessing to me. And I respect that and a lot, because years and years and years ago, there was a situation that still traumatized me to this day, where I had an older brother that unfortunately life took him from me in a really horrible, horrible, horrible way. Like 2 days before Christmas. That was my Christmas present that year, the death of my brother. And I wasn't able to save him. I was too young, and it just wasn't set up in the cards. And my younger brother know how much I love my older brother. And he want to make sure his big brother's good. He's willing to risk himself to make sure his big brother is good, so I can continue to keep doing what I'm doing and that I can have a better quality of life. And I think things like that should be honored. So, brother, bro, I'm putting it out there. I respect you. I honor you. I love you. And I want everybody to know what type of man that you are, because good people don't get the praise and the blessings that they do. And it's short lived. But I'm putting it out there for you. I love you. Um, I was reluctant on taking it because I don't want to cause harm to nobody. That's just my mindset. I had to be talked into doing that. But thank you. Thank you, and God bless you and your family for doing this. And as far as this talking segment, I think I'm going to end it here. We're coming up to 34 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to edit this and put it into sections. Like I said, I don't have a name for it yet or a title. But I'm going to be trying to do these at least once a week, or it depends on the how it does, or how the reception of it is. And if anyone wants to see more content, hit me up. If there's anything that you want me to discuss or have questions about, hit me up in my inbox, and we can take it from there. But as far as me, I'm doing well. I'm doing a hell of a lot better. And I'm good. I'm good. My family came through. I want to give a shout out to my family, my brothers, my sisters, my mom and dad. Oh my God, they have been excellent with this, not just the financial, the spiritual, and making sure that they have my back. And like my mom said, I don't ask for nothing. That's just how I am. I'll borrow money for someone else and be broke, you know. And I don't always ask them for help, but they know when to interject. When to be mom and dad. Just put it that way, because you know, I gotta do a quick impression of my dad real quick. My dad, I'll go to my house or something like that, and I'll just be like doing something. I just go there, and then, my mom was like, "Bro, you got any money?" I'm like, "Yeah, mama, I got money." Yeah, my dad be like, "How much you got, boy?" Like, I got $10. He be like, "There ain't no money. There ain't no money." Then my mom be like, you know, "Why you ain't ask for money?" He like, "Good well, he ain't gonna ask for no money, Margo. He ain't gonna ask for no money. Here, boy, take this money." So they make sure I'm good. And I love them. I hope that God keep blessing them and blessing me with them. But I'm going to end on a good note. And like I said, I want everyone to have a good evening. Be blessed. Take care of yourself. Stay away from Uncle COVID. He out there up to no good. Uncle COVID and Aunt Rona, you tell them to stay away. And I get with y'all later. Love and peace. And I hope you enjoyed or learned something. God bless.